Hello, everybody. It is Metachlor Games here, and I'm coming at you with my first episode of Card Spotlight. Uh, Card Spotlight is where I decide to go and go over an interesting set of cards that I think is really fun and has a lot of potential at being good. And I feel like that this is a good thing to do due to the fact that, well, there is a lot to this set, and it has a lot of potential and has a lot of fun. And it is a little difficult for people to understand some of the combos of this deck and the way this deck actually works and the loops that can actually occur with this deck. Um, Spirit Beast or Ritual Beast, it is very versatile known right now. In Japan, on DevPro, I think it's still Ritual Beast. On here, it's Spirit Beast, but it's still one and the same thing, and it is very much the same deck, and they do very much the same thing, and that is not going to change for quite some time. Now, these guys are like Gladiator Beasts. They will fusion themselves in and out with contact fusion, and you don't have to have poly to do it. You can poly with them, but I don't really see the point. You don't need poly for it. So don't worry about that. You don't have to pack polymerization into the deck. But this deck is pretty much the new Gladiator Beast, and this deck has many, many, many more loops and many more combos than Gladiator Beast has ever had. This deck, though, really is not good at getting rid of back row. Like, as far as the set itself, it doesn't really have any powers to get rid of back row. I mean, it can when you draw right. But other than that, it's a pretty good set, pretty good, strong, powerful set of cards. Ape Lion, you banish Ritual Beast cards from your graveyard, and then all of your Ritual Beast monsters you control gain 500 attack. And they don't state Ritual Beast on here, but they state Spiritual Beast, but it still has Ritual in Spiritual, so do not get confused with that. You have Elder, who is a psychic type that when normal summoned, you can normal summon a Ritual Beast. You have Kanahawk, who you banish Ritual Beast monsters from your deck, and then during your second standby phase, you add it back, well, you special summon it. But you don't really per se need to do that necessarily. Pedalfin, banish Ritual Beast cards from your hand, and then target a card your opponent controls, return to the hand. So he is your bouncer. Repenta, banish a Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck, and then send one Ritual Beast with the same type as the banished monster from your deck to the graveyard. You have Rira, that when you normal summon it, target a Ritual Beast monster in your graveyard and special summon it, and then you have Wen, that targets banished Ritual Beast monsters, and you special summon that target. So they have potential, especially considering their trap cards and their spell cards. Bond with the Ritual Beast, banish 2 face-up ritual monsters you control, special summon one Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. That really, this card really is not too good in the deck. You could easily swap this out. It's not necessary for this deck to have if you're playing it the right way. But essentially, they have 2 traps: Ambushed Ritual Beast, which special summons 2 among those that are currently banished and or in the graveyard, Ritual Beast and Spiritual Beast monsters. You target one Spiritual Beast monster and Ritual Beast Tamer, and then special summon them. So it lets you have a free fusion, which is pretty alright. It's pretty much a free fusion, and it's searchable. And one combination of the Ritual Beast is searchable, and destroy any number of monsters on the field up to the number of Ritual Beast monsters you control. This card does not target, so you don't have to worry about things that you cannot target, because this does not target, because it does not know the number of monsters that you actually control. You know the amount of monsters you control, your opponent knows, but the card itself does not. Therefore, it does not target. So keep that in mind. Now we have 3 fusions. Ape Lion, the tamed a spiritual beast. It is a big beat stick. It is a level 6. It is pretty much a star eater. Yeah, star eater. At level 6, 2600 attack. When it attacks, it's unaffected by other card effects until the end of the damage step. Same with Star Eater, except for you can, negate its summon though. You have Kanahawk. We'll go over Kanahawk in extreme detail because it is actually the important combos of this deck. And then you have Pedalfin, the tamed spiritual beast, cannot be destroyed by card effects. And during either player's turn, you can return it to the deck. Well, you can return to the deck, special summon, but that's the normal effects. So first off, all the fusion monsters, they can return themselves to the extra deck to special summon 1 Ritual Beast Tamer and 1 Spiritual Beast Monster. So they all can do that during either player's turn, actually. So you can do this, on your opponent's turn after they play a card effect, and you can bounce and dodge that card effect if it targets the card, whatever. But it doesn't dodge Torrential, doesn't dodge that kind of stuff. However, if you do want to dodge things like Torrential, like you summon a monster, they play Torrential, you chain bond with Ritual Beast, and you summon into Pedalfin, yeah, you can dodge Torrential that way. You can dodge Black Rose Dragon, you could dodge a lot of things that way if you make Pedalfin. Like if they play Dark Hole, make Pedalfin. Dodge Dark Hole. So in the end, that is what it does. Now, then you have Kanahawk. Kanahawk, can do the same thing, but it can still bounce itself back to the deck. But its other effect is really, really good. You can target one of your banished Ritual Beast Tamer monsters and one of your Spiritual Beast monsters, and special summon them. I know. No, that's that. Sorry. It's the other effect we're looking at. You can target 2 of your banished Ritual Beast cards, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, target 1 Ritual Beast card from your deck. Well, add 1 Ritual Beast card from your deck to your hand. It could be anything. It could be a Kanahawk, or a Penta, Elder, Ape Lion. Could be your traps, because they all state Ritual Beast within the card text. Now, the trick with Kanahawk, you summon it. Well, actually, there's 2 plays you can go with. If you don't have Repenta, and you do have Kanahawk, you'll go Kanahawk and banish Repenta. Fuse into something, fuse out of it, except for you're going to summon your Repenta rather than your Kanahawk. Because with Repenta, you can banish, one of these to get, one of these into the grave, banish one of these to get one of these into the grave, or, banish one of these to get one of these in the grave. So that's all cool and fine. But now after that, you make Kanahawk, and then Kanahawk, you use its first effect to target 2 banished Ritual Beast cards, return them to the graveyard. So you target either your Repenta, your Kanahawk, based on whatever it is that you need. Then you target whatever fusion monster it was. So that you've had this, or this is your target to send to the grave, and you have whatever fusion monster it was that you banished to target to the graveyard as well. Then you chain its other effect to bounce back to the deck. Target whichever one of these 2 monsters you targeted to send to the graveyard. Then you target one of these guys. Now, because the conditions actually have been met on the target for them to be sent to the graveyard, since your summon effect is Chainlink 2, you'll summon both of this or this, and whatever tamer it was that you've selected as your fusion target, was your summon target. And then because it's not left in banishment, it can only send the other target, which would be one of the fusion monsters. So you only send the fusion monster to the graveyard, and you still get to search because you have met your targets, you have met your conditions, and that is it. And Kanahawk, if you play it that way, Chainlink 2 is the summon. Your opponent cannot torrential. Your opponent cannot bottomless. They still, well, they can summon Warning because this is an effect that can summon. So they can still summon Warning, but they can't torrential and they can't bottomless. So Kanahawk, using that effect that way, can dodge both of these on summons. So then pretty much there's that, and you just get them back to the graveyard and you search. Now, Kanahawk can also be paired up with Tempest. If you draw Tempest, Kanahawk, send 2 your monsters to the grave, banish them again for Tempest, and you still get your search. So it's pretty much you summon Tempest for free, and you search for free, pretty much. That's kind of what this deck does. Now, Tempest isn't exactly great in this deck. I mean, synergy-wise, it doesn't really... it's not desynergized with the deck, but it's not, completely perfect in synergy, but it's certainly not, not that bad as far as, synergy with the deck due to the fact that they are all wind attribute monsters. So it does make Tempest very playable in this deck, and you could use Tempest to send one of these guys to the graveyard if need be. Like, you can send Tempest, enter Pen to the grave, summon Rira, summon this, and like Tempest would allow you to search, which obviously in this deck I would probably search out for, what is it? Debris Dragon, or whatever dragon types you want to search for in this deck. If you run any other dragon types, more than likely you won't, but Debris Dragon in this does help because you do have, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Well, no, sorry, level 2 and level 1 that are able to be summoned via its effect. And Pedalfin as well. You can summon Pedalfin as well with Debris Dragon. So that would be an interesting tech card to play in here if you ever see that. Personally, I don't play it much, but I'm actually going to just throw it in there because I do see the practicality, and I know that there are a lot of other players who do. And it's just an easy, rank 4 Xyz. You don't really synchro with it very often, but you can get your Tamers back from the graveyard if they're sent to the graveyard or whatever, and you have to move them back. You can summon it, and, well, you can just start fusing off again if you do have other targets for that. So you do have that option to do as well. Just I'd really only do it on Pedalfin, so you can make, things like Lightning Chidori, or make, Castell, or, whatever Xyz that you really need to make in this deck, you really can do. Just say goodnight to Keith here, because that's what good friends do. But anyways, guys, I have been playtesting around with this a lot, and it is really fun. And hopefully, I'll be able to get some footage of me playing the deck. I know some of you guys have messaged me on DN and have asked me, like, why don't you just stream duels on here? Well, I don't really have all that much time to stream, and I want to make duels for you guys, and I want to do it with voice commentary with the people that I actually duel. So if you guys could just understand that one, hopefully you guys understand that I would rather make videos with me commentating with other people, so that I'm not just talking to myself when I duel other people. Because like when I duel other people, and I'm trying to commentate over it, I feel stupid, and I feel like I'm just talking to myself, and that's not the way I should feel. So pardon me for not exactly doing that, but I hope you guys actually enjoyed this first episode of Card Spotlight. Remember, this is Ritual Beast slash Spiritual Beast, or Spiritual Beast slash Ritual Beast, whichever one you want to call it. It's really yours to choose. But thank you guys anyway for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and leave your comments down in the comment section below. So I will see you guys later.